Hi, this is Cole Miller, class of 2023.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Today's conversation with Cole is brought to us in part through the ongoing support of 2008 graduate Matt Cox and his company, Saucetown Properties. If you or anyone you know have a house you want to sell but don't feel like dealing with the hassle of doing repairs or hiring a realtor, go to saucetownproperties.net to get a fair cash offer today. And today we are joined by 2023 Saxon grad Cole Miller. Cole's Saxon years were full of cross-country, track and field, the full IB diploma program, honor society, and most definitely DECA, the latter in which Cole placed at state all 4 years and even once at internationals. Since graduating, Cole earned the presidential scholarship to Beloit College, where he's currently a junior studying international relations and environmental studies with a minor in Spanish. Cole's joining us today from a semester abroad in San Jose, Costa Rica, as he's completing a sustainable development and social justice semester. Cole was a sophomore athlete of the year at Beloit and is running cross country and track for the Buccaneers, which, funny story, Cole, my university that I went to, Whitworth, we were the Buccaneers. We were the Pirates, but we turned into the Bucks or the Buccaneers as well. So from Buccaneer to Buccaneer, welcome to your time in the spotlight. It's so good to connect. So excited to be able to spotlight you and share your story. Maybe let's start here. It's a rainy Monday here in Salem. How is the weather in Costa Rica?
Well, thank you for having me. I can't say it's too different here. At about 4 p.m. every evening, we're in the rainy season in San Jose. It starts to pour, and you might actually be able to catch a little bit of it out my window throughout this interview, but not too different than home.
I guess it is the fall season. How long have you been in Costa Rica? How long are you staying?
Good question. I'm on my second month, and I have one more, so I'm doing a short semester.
Short semester, and your focus is that sustainable development as well as social justice. What is that?
It's a fantastic intersection for me. I couldn't be more lucky to be in this program. I'm an international relations major, like you mentioned, but I have a focus in Latin American and Caribbean studies, and I'm working on my Spanish minor. And so, as a requirement of the university that I attend, you have to go abroad as an international relations major and to a country that speaks the language of your study. And so, I had a couple different options in Latin America, but this sustainable and social justice program spoke to me. I'm super interested in politics. My IR is split between environmental issues and politics, so this couldn't be a better place to experience the environment and Latin American politics.
Yeah, what a wonderful opportunity. What do you see the future holding for you after graduating from college?
It's a good question. I have to think about classes for next semester. I have Oh boy, it's been advising period this last week, and I'm thinking about how to structure my future in college. And so I think post-grad will come with a lot of changes. I hope to stay in the Midwest for a bit, if not come back to the Pacific Northwest after a couple years post-grad. I have a couple things lined up in terms of job opportunities. I'm hoping to work at the Environmental Research Center in Beloit for maybe a year, a semester after grad. I'm hoping to secure a volunteer internship when I come back after Costa Rica. So it's going to be environmentally related, people related, and I hope to hang on to my Midwest time for a little bit. And if I get swayed, I might stay.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, let's rewind a bit. Talk to us about your Saxon years. Did you grow up in Salem? Was South Salem always where you were headed?
I did grow up in Salem. I spent the first 5 years in Portland and then a year in Kaiser, but we moved to get me into an all-day kindergarten. My mom actually works in Salem, and we had been commuting from Portland. So since my early days, I've been in Salem. And I'm actually a Sprague district kid. I was supposed to end up at Sprague, but through the grapevine of people that I knew in middle school and friends that I had in elementary school, almost all of them were headed towards South, and my mom and dad really wanted to get me into the IB program, and this is before North had an IB program as well, so South was the destination for the nerd that I would become.
Yeah, and it was to our benefit for sure. What do you remember about those 4 years as a Saxon?
I remember a couple different activities. Really, IB, cross country and track, and DECA. Those were my lifelines and the things that I was super involved in. I remember my junior and senior year, IB just consumed my life. And I remember the academic whirlwind that that brings. But along the way, I had friends who did DECA and who did cross country and track with me. And those were the reasons I stayed afloat in those kind of tumultuous high school years where it feels like you're doing all the academics in the world.
What is it about the IB program? You can even speak to how it's informing or influencing your studies now, but what is it about IB that drew you in as a soon to be junior in high school?
Well, I have to credit my mom and my dad. They put me on the IB track even before I was thinking about it. And back when I was in high school, IB had an honors track. So my freshman and sophomore year, I had prep classes to get me prepared for that junior level. And my sister, who's just 2 years younger than I think the curriculum had changed by that point. So I was really grateful for the honors classes. Those set me up for the rigor that I would come to expect from IB. And then by junior and senior year, I was doing classwork with really a select group of peers. I didn't see the whole high school in terms of my class population. I saw about the same 20, 40 kids by my graduating years. And I remember it being stressful. I remember thinking, am I worthy of full diploma? Is this something for me? But that I can talk about for years. It set me up for success. As much as I think I struggled at some times in the IB diploma, like full diploma, it had the skills I have come out of it with have benefited me in college and in public speaking endeavors and critical research endeavors that serve me beyond my high school years.
We're about to head into some classes just next week as a counseling team to speak about to sophomores, 10th graders, give them their pathways forward, one of them being that full diploma. Is it worth it?
It's a controversial take, the one that I have, and you wouldn't get the same opinion from my friends who were at different schools or had different academic interests. So I would say that it is okay to be different in your academic interests, and you should pursue those early on because I didn't know by the time that I thought about full diploma what I was really interested in. And if I had known a couple more classes like robotics or choir or tried to dabble in an extracurricular that would set me up for a fun enjoyment, I might not have done full diploma. I might have said, these are the core courses that I know I'm interested in, the ones I know I'll need post grad, something that I'm going to use like an English and a history, and maybe I'll take on an IB, let's think like a science. But I took TOK and I took history and I took math, and those are not my strong suits. And I definitely learned tenacity from taking those classes in high school. And those were requirements for my full diploma. But had I had more time, I think from my personal life, I would have said I can take an easier math class, but focus on maybe taking a robotics, or I can take a normal history class and then find myself time to do the academic and personal interests. So for me, the value of hard work and trying something that wasn't easy was worth it. But I think I could have gotten that without full diploma. So for me, in retrospect, I probably wouldn't have pursued full diploma, but I'm not upset now that I did it because I have that elbow grease that came out of doing it.
I love that word tenacity. One of the classes I know you did add on top of the IB diploma was World Lit with Miss 40. Talk about that experience and what makes that class so special.
One of my favorites. That was absolutely one of my favorites. I credit Miss 40 for throwing in a spice of life to my junior and senior year. There was so much focus on what IB had to look like and how you had to perform for the exams that come up. Some of them junior, but most of them senior year. But World Lit reinvigorated my passion for both the types of books that she suggested. She's a wizard. I remember the books from that class more than any other class that I took. But just the chance to pause and think, I don't need to think about how this is going to contribute to the IB essay I have to write next spring, but instead take a chance to dive into this interest that I have in this book in a meaningful way. I loved that class, and I appreciated just how different it was from my everyday reality.
Yeah, what about DECA? How was your experience with DECA?
I started off in DECA kind of slow. I did it because my friends did it. And by the end, I was really involved. I was the vice president my senior year, second to the legend who is Kaylin Ma. She's on to doing really serious business things, and I cannot speak highly enough about her. And so the program introduced me to fantastic, really hardworking people. I didn't actually become a business major. A lot of the people that do DECA don't end up in economics or business at all. But it gave me so much confidence to speak to other people, to prepare creative work, and it introduced me to Rolfness and Dixon. And I hear from Rolfness still post-grad. So the mentors and the time I got out of it with some really close friends made DECA all worth it. Even if you're doing that like week before state hardcore prep for all of the stuff that you didn't do earlier on in the DECA seasons.
You came back last year with Kaylin and a few others to share with some of our DECA students your experiences and what life post high school has been like. What was the message that you wanted those students to take away from that?
I think it was the same, that you get out of DECA what you put in, and that I got lucky to get the friends out of it. I got lucky to get creative skills, and I know that the others who pitched their memories of DECA talked about how rewarding it was to place and how rewarding it was to build skills, and I just love to contribute that the friends can make DECA worth it. It was a club, but then it became almost my life for a year or two, and so couldn't couldn't be more thankful for the skills that I got out of it, but mostly the people connections.
Well, your experience at South sounds rich. It sounds deep. And knowing the little I did about you as a student, but knowing enough to know that you are a connector, you are someone that is so good with people and relationally, you have so many gifts. What is it about South in general? Like, if you think about our school, what's it about this place that makes it so special?
The people. I remember talking to Laura Tiffin, who was the principal for my first couple years, and she said it is always the people that make this place so special. And I was going to end up at a different high school, and I had heard the stories that come from South and how welcoming people are, how supportive the environment would be. And as hard as high school can be, like the struggles that come with being a teenager and figuring out who you are and what you want to do with your life, there was so many mentors that made my experience at South richer. And so I couldn't be more grateful for that. I think that is what makes South special, that there are a dedicated group of people who want to make you as successful as you can be. Your coaches, your teachers, the staff in the hallway. I knew the janitors and I knew the people who let me stay late because I was finishing a DECA project. Like, there is a community of people. And when Miss Tiffin left, it didn't stop. We had Mrs. Romine and the collection of people that stepped up in Mrs. Tiffin's absence. I feel the continued culture still exists of community of people that makes South so great.
Yeah, it certainly does. And talk about that third column of your life as a Saxon, the athletics side of things. What was it like to be a student athlete and being a part of especially our cross country and track teams? What'd you love about that?
Being an athlete keeps me sane. I'll say it all the time. I've been seeing coverage of the New York City Marathon, and I don't think I'm that crazy yet. But
Yet.
I just love, yeah, the keywords yet. I'm sure I'll get in there someday. But being on sports teams at South brought me closer to people that I probably would have never otherwise met. And there's something special about being on a team with people you like and people you don't like, people you never met, people who are doing different things than you. And I just love to run. And it was hard at some times because not everybody loves high school cross country. Not everybody is as hyped as you are to be out there on a day where it's raining. But nevertheless, I had coaches that made it a fantastic experience. I shout out Mr. Gilmore, who became the track coach, one of, I think, my junior year head track coach. And I shout out Robert and Coach Murdoch, Coach Bach now, about how they just had time to watch me grow as a person, and then they helped mold me into a leader. They gave me space to lead the team my senior year as a captain and watch other people who were really talented become better versions of themselves. I think sports is a epic metaphor for trying hard at something to prove to yourself that you can do it, to prove to your teammates, but especially track and cross country. Those are things that are pretty individualistic. And so if you can show yourself that you can do hard things, that's one of the benefits that I got out of track and out of cross country. And the people on the team were really supportive. I loved my cross country teams, and the track team's a lot bigger, which makes a difference, but we just always had fun. We were on the bus, we were singing songs. I remember the state meets. It was a good time.
Yeah, such a tight knit community, and just my own athletic prior days, those bus rides, those trips, those experiences beyond the actual competition are often what I remember first and
Yeah.
longest, as opposed to the competitions themselves. Though those can be memorable too. You mentioned the word leader. Cole, you're a leader through and through. You always have been. Is that something that's been innate in you? Has it been something that's been built by others? What does being a leader mean to you?
I like that one. I'm working my head around it. I think I have to credit my family and my community for my success as a leader. My parents, Rebecca and Kurt, and my sister have always been my biggest supporters, and I feel that they allowed me to become the leader that I am by giving me the confidence, the platform, and the spaces to be a good leader. And I saw it first from my mom and my dad and my family, and so maybe it's innate because the people I grew up around were leaders, but it just comes from, I think, a family of people with values that are serving others, because leadership is about serving others before yourself and helping out your team, helping out your friends. I think being a good leader can look like uplifting those around you, and I always saw that in my family, so I have to credit them.
Let's talk Beloit. How did you land on a tiny town in Wisconsin and Beloit itself?
A great question. I applied to somewhere around 16 schools, and I was on a crazy rampage of figuring out what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be. Like, we had things from like USC, big mega school, California, to small women's college in Massachusetts, to Midwest colleges where I could run. And I did the whole scope, and I thought about probably 2 or 3 key things. Can I afford to go to college? Where can I afford to go to college? Where can I perchance continue to run at the collegiate level? I wasn't a crazy fast high school runner. I didn't come out with accolades that would put you on the path to D1, but it was something that I cared about, and the team atmosphere and the tenacity that comes with running, those were things I wanted to continue in college. I said it keeps me sane. So I looked at where I could afford to go, if I could run, and it actually came down to knowing that my grandparents were nearby. My mom grew up in Wisconsin, and Beloit is about 45 minutes away from some family. And I looked for a connection at Beloit, and I got recruited by the most wonderful coach in the world. She's moved on to coach the Minnesota Pro Distance team. And
Okay.
they're awesome. They're fire. Huge shout out to Coach Ellie Waddle, but I fit at Beloit. I fit the small school, the merit aid. I fit the weird, quirky cross country team. So that's how I ended up in seemingly the middle of nowhere.
Oh, I love that. What have you experienced in your first couple years there? What are you loving about college life? And what took you, you mentioned it a little earlier, but all the way to Costa Rica?
Yeah, yep, that's where I am right now. And it's been a great semester so far. But for the rewind, my first couple years were pretty heavily involved in cross country and track. I've branched out, and I now have a couple different jobs. I've tinkered around with things that were fun. I was a on-campus referee for volleyball, soccer,
Yes.
all kind of intramural games. I served as a campus representative for a voting organization that encourages nonpartisan activity, college student voting, and actually now I serve in an off-campus role as one of their national programming interns. So I've been involved in those things outside of class, but a lot of colleges eating meals with your team, figuring out what you're doing in school, doing the big projects, but I've been rewarded for being there. You mentioned that I was Sophomore Athlete of the Year. That was a really gracious honor that I received. I've been doing well in the political science department, have received scholarships from them as well. So I have had a great time doing what I love, and that has been kind of a benefit of coming out of high school and figuring out what I'm interested in has been flourishing in college and in the things that I'm interested in, which are voting, political science, a little bit of that international relations connection, Latin America, and that's how I'm in Costa Rica.
And cross country seasons right now, how is it being apart from your team while still doing what you love?
I miss them. Don't tell them, but I haven't been running. It's been good,
How's your
though.
sanity then?
It's honestly, I'm still going to the gym, so I'm lifting those weights, but the break from running has also been nice because I've been a competitive athlete since I was 7. I was running on teams that made it to regionals or to nationals as a child, and I didn't get much better as a middle school athlete, and I certainly got worse as a high school athlete. The puberty will really kick you in the butt as a runner, and so I'm happy to be taking a pause for myself. Choosing to study abroad was a really conscious, me, a bit of a selfish without the negative connotation choice, where you're prioritizing what's important to you in your studies. That doesn't mean I don't miss my team. My really good teammate just broke our school record in the women's 6K, so I miss those moments. I'm having serious FOMO about that kind of thing, but I wouldn't change being here for being back home.
I admire it so much, and having lived the college athlete life and not choosing to study abroad, that is my biggest regret from college, certainly, is that I didn't prioritize at least a semester somewhere else. So credit to you. You will not look back on this time, and well, you may. I mean, can't say it for certain, but I think with quite certain conviction, you'll look back and be grateful that this was the choice you made, even though it was a semester away from a team, for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
hard to be all year round. I'm
Right.
a cross country, a winter track, and a track, so I
Right.
had to
Right.
pick kind of the lesser of the evils, but I do miss it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine. Well, let's launch into our big 3 questions. And Cole, these 3 questions are brought to us through support from the Saxon Success Fund. The Saxon Success Fund is a nonprofit organization for anyone that is newly listening and hasn't heard me read this in the past. But we credit the Saxon Success Fund for raising money to invest in our school and in our students through capital investment projects as well as college scholarships, all with the goal and the purpose to transform South High from one of the best schools in the state to one of the best schools in the nation. And again, we thank our alumni and our community for all their support. And if any of our listeners would like to get involved or donate, especially for this senior class, please go to saxonsuccessfund.org for more information. So Cole, knowing where you are today, all that you're up to, what or who would you credit? And you've mentioned a few of them so far. Anyone else that you want to credit that's helped you get to this point?
I absolutely love to start actually with the Saxon Success Fund. They put money towards my college scholarships, and they actually helped my sister do the same. She got a Helena, super smart, very intelligent, super
Shout out
science.
Helena.
Shout out
Yes.
Helena. She's doing wonders at Mount Holyoke College, and it was only possible because we've gotten funds from all sorts of different people, but specifically the Saxon Success Fund. So those people are in my corner. Always want to credit my mom and my dad and my sister, my grandparents, my extended family, but also my family at South. I think the mentors that I came from, coaches, from teachers, and from family and friends really made a difference. I miss Mrs. Keck. I miss Miss Forty, Rolf Ness, Mr. McBride in the Spanish department. All of those people helped me see that my worth was beyond the classroom and sometimes beyond IB, and they helped me realize that I could be the leader and the person that I wanted to post high school. So always shout outs to them.
Question 2, what's one piece of advice you would give young Cole, your high school self?
Do what you're interested in. It's okay to be different, and everyone is different. I poured a lot of time into being a full diploma student and taking classes that I had to take for IB. And I wish I had taken things that I was also interested in or had the time to, kind of like the Hermione Granger tilting hourglass, to do it all at the same time. I wish I'd done the things that I was interested in that might not have seemed like they would have put you towards a degree. I was so fortunate to be surrounded by incredibly smart individuals in the IB program, But I wish I had spent more time pursuing what made me happy without the fear of missing out on the things that they were doing or being scared of individuality. I was really working so hard to blend into the group that I don't think I spent time pursuing what I wanted to learn in the whole. So I would recommend that you try the things that interest you, that you take a chance on something. It can be an extracurricular, or maybe it's a hard class, something that you didn't believe that you could do, because there's always time that if it interests you, you should pursue it.
Beyond being able to be two places at once, if you could transform South Salem High School in one way, question 3 is, what would you add or adjust about our school?
Well, there's so much I love about South. I looked at this question to the people who were watching. I got this question in advance, and I didn't even have something to come up with when I was looking at it. All I had was good things to say about South and how the community felt supportive and unique. I would maybe, if I had even one nitpick, would be to advertise the support and the resources that South has for people that are struggling maybe in a different way than you expect as a normal kid to struggle. I think this is always on my IB train. I loved it. I had a great time, but I think so much of the pressure of IB felt like I couldn't go get help when I needed a second opinion or someone to listen to me because everybody else was doing it, so I felt I had to. And I know that's not an IB only struggle. I think there's lots of kids who, in the time of heightened comparison in high school, feel like they have to do what everyone else is doing or they're gonna get left behind, and they may not find that there are supports out there. Like, you work at the counseling office, and I know you do great work. My family can attest that you guys do great work. And I couldn't be more thankful that you guys exist. Mentors like Mr. Rolfness and Mr. Dixon exist, that there are people to talk to and to go to. And I think that just comes naturally. But if there was some magic ball to say, when you're in trouble, go see this person, that's what I'd change. But there's just so many people that'll actually get to you before you're even struggling, which is a miracle too.
Doing our best, absolutely. So that's great feedback as well. And we'll jump into our rapid fire questions. And these ones are brought to us by another Saxon graduate, Dr. Corey Bickler at Bickler Dentistry. And at Bickler Dentistry, your experience is comfortable, it's personalized, and it's stress-free. Whether you need a routine cleaning or advanced restorative treatment, the team at Bickler uses the latest technology to keep your smile healthy and confident. Discover compassionate care and exceptional results right here in South Salem at Bickler Dentistry, owned and operated by 2009 Saxon grad Corey Bickler. Cole, what's your favorite TV show or movie of all time?
Well, I'm on Ted Lasso right now. I know it came out a couple years ago, but I'm on the repeat. Oh, I've seen all 3 seasons. I'm on my 3rd time watching. So Ted Lasso, all the way.
Excellent.
Happy vibes, sports. It's epic.
Good answer. Favorite class in college?
Ooh, in college. Ooh, curveball. I really enjoyed jazz dance. It was actually required for my environmental studies degree as a creative component. I am in environmental studies with a citizenship and justice concentration, which is a long way to say that my environmental studies should be centered around people care, and they wanted to make sure that you have a creative component. I wasn't a dancer before college, probably am not still a dancer now, but man, I love to dance and I had the best time. If I had to pick an academic course, probably the environmental history of the modern Middle East. Also not my focus. Loved the professor, took it freshman year. Will never forget it.
Favorite spot to eat when you're in Salem?
Ooh, Bibimbap, right next to the YMCA. 503 Sushi or the Wild Pear. They have the best sweet potato truffle fries. I know it sounds bougie, but sometimes that's all you gotta do.
Bougie's okay. We accept that. What's the class in high school that you've used professionally most, or obviously in college at this point?
I'd credit IB history. I would say that the OPCVLs, if you did IB, you know. The critical thinking that comes out of structuring a source, especially in this time of AI and in social media and vetting information and using your brain as the primary tool for critical thinking, IB history put me on a path where I could be confident in my own research skills, and I use those every day.
Favorite place you've traveled?
Costa Rica. It is right next to the national park that actually has a beach shaped like a whale tail, naturally occurring, and it is home to the birthing site of whales from both directions, north and south. They migrate to this place in Costa Rica, and I had the fortune of seeing 3 mama whales and their babies while on a boat a couple weeks ago, and you'll never see anything like it. They're just huge and they make so much noise. I'd recommend everyone go. You should go in the fall, find whale season, September, October.
Okay, good to know. Any more shout outs you want to give?
Mr. Korea and his flag football team. This feels like an Oscar performance, like a thank you. So I'll go quick. I was so proud to see them grow. They won the state championship after I left, so boo, but so proud of them.
Were you part of that inaugural team?
I was.
That's what I thought, which is incredible.
Yeah. And I'm so thankful my mom let me do it. I was deep in the weeds of college application season, but it was such a good thing to get out and do. I miss it. Shout out to Mrs. Keck. She and my family friend Jen Morgan make sure that students get across the line come spring. Their work couldn't be more impactful. I know you know Rolfness, 40, and Mrs. Bromine and Mrs. Tiffin for being supporters post-grad. I send out a family and friends email, and they get it, and they engage with it. And that's how you know the South community is special. When your ex-principal is reading your emails post-grad and responding to them, because you know she's busy.
And not just that, passing it forward to other people too and saying, you need to check this out, which is how I got to hear a little bit about your first couple weeks in Costa Rica. It's wonderful. Tell me and tell us, Cole, who else should we spotlight in this Alumni Spotlight series?
Not to sound chronically online, but this is like the ice bucket challenge. You do it and then you recommend more people. You have to talk to Kaylin Ma. She is a wizard. She's graduating. Oh my, I'm going to do her a disservice. She's graduating, I think, this winter with a full bachelor's degree. She's managing incredible amounts of money for the University of Oregon. Mm-hmm. She's doing people's taxes for free. I think you just got to talk to Kaylin.
Okay, if she's got time. Kaylin, we're coming for you.
Right. Schedule-wise, she is one of the busiest women I know.
It's also, that accounting, especially that like 4th year of the accounting program is the wildest anyone is involved in, and between internships and doing some nonprofit work, and it's wild. So, but yes, Kaylin is very much on our radar. And if you're listening to this, which I hope you are, Kaylin, we're coming for you.
Well, she's everyone's biggest supporter, so I'm sure even if I don't tell her this is happening, she'll have tuned in, and then by the end, she'll get this shout out and go, oh no, why did he do that?
Well, Cole, we appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today and giving up a little bit of your time in Costa Rica, where you're in a portion of paradise, even if it is raining, to jump on a screen and share a bit about your story. Thank you for being someone that we can celebrate and honor, someone that we can consider one of our own, this part of the Saxon family. Thank you.
It was so much fun. Thank you for having me.
That does it for our conversation with Cole. Cole, thank you so much for jumping on, especially coming all the way from Costa Rica. Please give your family our best. And we want to always thank Sawstown Properties, Matt Cox there, Saxon Success Fund. Got a great shout out from Cole. And then we also want to thank Dr. Corey Bickler, Bickler Dentistry. Thank you all for tuning in as always. Another great one coming next week. Go Saxons.